All right, welcome back. You're watching Liquid Lunch on Biz TV. It's a Thirsty Thursday, and if you are thirsty to hear about the hottest topics around and break them down with my two good friends, Democrat and Republican, join us right now to mix it up. On the right, my buddy John Burnett is with us. He's with us every week. He's a managing director of One Empire Group and columnist for Newsmax, one-time Republican candidate for New York City Comptroller. And David Eisenbach is with us. He's a historian, Columbia University professor, and one-time Democratic candidate for public advocate. Guys, the big news the other day, the blast in Beirut. I mean, that thing looked like a small nuke went off. JB, what do you think really happened?
Well, according to the Wall Street Journal and other credible news outlets, somebody made a bad decision about 6 years ago to store a lethal, if you will, element by a port. I mean, of all places, why would you store something that's highly flammable, explosive in a port area like that? Now, 300 residents are looking for new homes. 300,000 residents are looking for new homes. Over 100 people dead. That death toll is steadily rising. This is just a bad decision, right? And people are already questioning the government in terms of economic opportunities. This is only going to set them far back amid a global pandemic.
Yeah, 2,700 tons of bomb-making material you're going to store in downtown Beirut, of all places, of all cities on earth. That's somebody made that choice. Whoever it is, they got to pay. That's for sure. Because if this is an accident or whether it was some sort of sabotage, nonetheless, that was a terrible decision.
So let me ask you this, guys, because Jess, one of my producers, she's got family in Lebanon and in the Middle East. Jess says nothing happens by accident in Beirut or Middle East. And then the backstory that she gave me yesterday was that there were 4 Hezbollah terrorists who are in a UN tribunal being tried for the bombing murder of the former Prime Minister Hariri. And the verdict is supposed to be given out tomorrow, Friday. You think it could be linked to maybe them trying to cause all kinds of unrest and not get these guys found guilty? Or is it retaliation maybe? It just doesn't make sense that an accident, 2,600 pounds of ammonium nitrate go off.
Well, it could be either way. There's no question about it. But getting back to John's original point, whoever decided to put that 2,700 tons of ammonium nitrate in the middle of Beirut needs to pay. All
right. Well, I'm ringing the bell.
I think someone needs to pay. But also, to your point, John, I think that we might have 2 parallel tracks here. Someone that made a decision years ago, a group of individuals, and at the same time, someone capitalizing off of that information to serve another political point.
That's what it looks like to me. I love when these guys agree. Latest fundraising numbers out. Trump outraises Biden in July. Biden was on a little streak, but Trump knocked that out of the park. David, I'm sad to see you without the Met hat on because we finally got a win. But
because I finally got a haircut.
Yeah, all right. Now that makes sense. Let me ask you this. Do you think the whole defund the police and the riots in the street and everything else, is that waking people up to say, man, we got to get Trump elected because this is where Joe Biden's going to take us?
No. Sadly for you guys, what's happening is that the smart Democratic money thinks that Biden's win is in the bag already, and the high stakes, the high Democratic money moving into the Senate races. The Democrats are looking at keeping the House, taking the Senate and the presidency, getting rid of the filibuster, and then jamming a whole bunch of legislation down your throats. That's what's happening right now.
Wow. JB, that sounds like it could be catastrophic for our country. I don't know if I agree with David's premise, quite frankly.
Hey, John, just look at the fundraising money for Senate Democrats. It's off the charts. The Democrats are raising so much money for the Senate races.
Premise is off as usual.
Look at the numbers, guys.
Biden is full of gaffes. He hasn't even met his best yet. He just even even said something that causes a divide between blacks and Hispanics.
And yet it doesn't. And yet it doesn't matter. His poll numbers bear out
blacks
a
and
landslide.
Hispanics are not excited about Biden. And guess what? They're not even excited about Kamala Harris, one of the leading VP picks. He's going to need a lot more money. And you know what? President Obama and other, high caliber Democrats that are coming out now, in fact, Trump is closing the divide in terms of the poll numbers.
No, he's
going to need more money. Yes, it is. Check the latest polls, David. It's actually closing. Why? Because things like defund the police. We even have Governor Cuomo on his hands and knees begging rich and middle class to come back to New York. Why? Because he needs to fill the budget gap.
I'm not sure what that has to do with
He's offering them drinks and taking them out to dinner.
Just look at the real clear polling averages. You see that he is clobbering Donald Trump in the general election polls. And then if you look at the state breakdown, he's got Trump by, I think it was like 350 electoral votes.
2016, David. This is the same talking point.
Trump in Florida and Ohio.
Yeah. David, I got to say, when I hear you talking about the race being in the bag, that almost makes me feel good, because that's what they were saying. And that's what they were saying.
The fact is, the smart, big Democratic money is plowing out of Biden. They no longer are concerned about that race. They're plowing it into the Senate Democratic races. Now, whether that's a smart decision or not, that's what accounts for Biden.
Maybe that's a decision. Maybe that's a decision of no confidence in Biden, and they're concerned about the down ballot.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. There's my man, JB.
Strategy, David. They're concerned about down ballot. They're saying that, you know what, Trump is likely to pull this out.
No, that is not what the Democrats are saying, John.
Let's check his power by putting money into Senate
I think they are. I think they are. If you remember, Hillary Clinton didn't do anything the last 2 months, and Donald Trump was like shooting into Michigan and shooting into Pennsylvania, and
exactly.
boom, 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 boom.
And now
because they thought they had it in the bag. Pulled out of Michigan.
They're cutting back on their ad buys in Pennsylvania. They've basically given up on those states. They're now playing defense because they're behind in the polls in Ohio and Florida.
This is completely fake news.
Yep.
What the campaign is likely doing is saying, you know what? Let's see who he actually picks, because we might have to alter or slightly make some changes to our strategy.
Yep.
But trust me, they raised over $1 billion already, with still 3 months to go. David, I don't know what you're drinking. I haven't seen your cup today.
Yeah, where's the mystery coffee cup? Let's see what he's drinking, this guy. All right, listen, guys. It's getting out of hand with these social media companies. They're starting to call balls and strikes on who deserves First Amendment privileges. Now, Facebook and Twitter both sanctioned the President of the United States for a post where he claimed that kids are virtually immune to coronavirus. I think in the country, we've had 50 or less than 50 deaths of kids under 18. Is virtually immune fake news, or is that someone's opinion based on the statistical evidence?
No, virtually immune is scientifically false. It's not even close. They are not immune at all. They can carry the virus, and then they can spread it to their grandparents, who are definitely vulnerable. So while kids are less vulnerable to die from it, that doesn't mean they don't get it. And so Donald Trump is once again spreading misinformation, trying to tamp down the panic, and people are dying as a result of it.
I think you just flip-flopped in your own statement, David. When you look at the data,
kids aren't immune.
The youth are virtually immune.
No, they are not.
Based upon the numbers that JT just had given you. That is why other major industrial nations are sending children back to school.
No, the reason is because
you can't go by the science and then start wavering on the science when it's politically when you think it's to your political advantage.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what JB's saying, and I got to agree with it. The kids probably are immune from symptoms, but
that
they're
is not being
carriers.
immune, fellas.
Okay.
Immune means you don't get it.
Okay, all right,
They
fair.
get it, and then they can pass it on.
So we have
It
to.
is- it
So
is
we have to.
dangerous.
We have to really.
JT,
the-
can I step in here for a second? Let me tell you the hypocrisy, right?
Jay, we got 30 seconds,
English
less than
language,
30.
the definitions of words.
all right. We gotta leave it there. We gotta leave it there. We're gonna run out of time, guys. Thanks. You guys are the best. John Burnett, David Eisenbach. They mix it up. I can't even get a word in edgewise. But thank you, boys. I appreciate
All
it.
right, guys.
We'll take a
Have a
quick
great
break.
weekend.
Come back and wrap it up right after this.